their foot off the pedal, and it's going to quiet down. Okay. And what's been driving all of these temperature increases is going to stop happening, and then what we're going to have is the weather's going to cool.
Okay.
We're going to go into like a little mini ice age.
Really?
All right. So that makes sense if you have a massive object that's coming into the core of the solar system from the south, passes through sometime around, 2012, 2013 time frame. It's, at its closest point, perihelion, all right, to the sun.
All right.
And then as it's moving away, then what happens is what's aggravating the bodies in our system, including the sun, is now going to start, the trend is going to reverse as it goes way back out into the furthest reaches of our system, out into the area of the Kuiper Belt. Well, the effects it's causing are going to be on the reverse side in the same pattern. Just imagine a bell curve, okay? And after this object crosses the ecliptic and starts heading back out to aphelion, its furthest point away from the sun, we're on the flip side of the back curve. I call that the back side, by the way. And anytime I'm talking to folks, I always end with the same thing: catch you on the back side. And what I'm saying by catch you on the back side is I'm not in this for the panic. I'm in this to help people get through it. If they get it, I want them to get through it, and I want to see them on the back side. I want to, after all of this is going to happen, I want to sit there and say, shake their hands and say, hey, you made it. Good for you. Let's go out and build the world anew. Okay. And it'll be a beautiful world after this passes through, because that's what the ancient documents all tell us happens.
Okay. For those of you who are just tuning in, we are talking to Marshall Masters about 2012 and Planet X. Marshall first appeared on PAX TV in a program titled Is There a Doomsday Asteroid? And, of course, that was on that series, Encounters of the Unexplained. And you also, looks like you have first appeared on the March 20th, 2001 show, was hosted by Jerry Allerbach. Marshall, I used to watch that show. It seemed like every good mystery show like that seemed to get cuts from the roster there for some reason or other. Is it because they get too close?
I don't know if it's because they get too close. That one particular show I did with them was just simply stunning. And now it's interesting was that another show that I did with them was a total, it was just awful for me. They came to me and said, we'd like for you to present a segment on our show about by some science by a fellow by the name of Dewey McLean, had a theory, a volcanic theory in India.
Okay. That
there was a huge volcanic eruption in the Deccan Flats about the same time as the Chicxulub impact 65 million years ago that Luis Alvarez has shown caused the extinction of the dinosaurs.
All right.
And so I did a lot of preparation on that. And then they turned around and they came out and shot me, and they soundbited me. And next thing I knew, I'm on television, and they're using me to justify the notion that human beings and dinosaurs lived together at the same time. And I mean, that was just like, whoa. And so after the show disappeared after that, frankly, I didn't care. I didn't soundbited, and it was really rude. I'd been used in a terrible way.
Wow.
So you get these shows that they come on. I think a lot of them come on. They want to do a good job. And then, it always winds up to money drives the process. And whatever the money guys in marketing can sell is what kind of content they're going to generate. And they don't care if they eat their young.
Okay. Marshall, we have this question from the Fast Blast. Can Planet X be seen with any technology that we have today?
Well, that's what we've been reporting on extensively. We believe that it's currently being observed by the South Pole Telescope at the Amundsen-Scott Station in Antarctica. That's a 10-meter dish. It's a huge facility that's been installed down there near the South Pole, and it's the perfect instrument at the perfect time to observe this object as it's coming in. The second most perfect observatory is the one that's maintained by the Vatican in Arizona, down in the southeast corner of Arizona.
Did you say Vatican?
Pardon?
Did you say the Vatican?
The Vatican has a telescope, yes, and it's in Arizona. And you have to excuse me, sometimes this stuff just slips the mind here. But I mean, it's this particular observatory. There are certain spots of the planet where observation is absolutely premium real estate. All right, and this is in one of those premium areas. What's amazing about this Vatican telescope in Arizona, to me, is that it's going to be the one that will be able to keep this object under continuous observation for the longest period of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we certainly
of any of them out there.
Okay, well, we certainly want Pope Benedict to keep tuned in on that. We have this question from Dave. He wants to know: is Nibiru wormwood the same? Nibiru, I guess you forgot to didn't spell it right. I think is Nibiru and wormwood from the Book of Revelations the same?
Good question. Let me answer that. Planet X is a generic term that we use collectively, that all of these other names really fall under it. You have the ancient Sumerians, the text is translated by Zechariah Sitchin, calls it Nibiru, the planet of crossing, according to the Sumerian civilization. That was the first that sprung up for our species. And then the ancient Egyptians called it the destroyer. It's referenced in, I believe, the book of Jeremiah as the destroyer. The ancient Celts called it the frightener. It has had many, many names by many different cultures all around the world. It is extremely well documented. It's just, this is very ancient history because it has a long period over of about 3,600 years. Now, in terms of the name wormwood, I believe that this object will have an official sighting. I think it's unofficially, it's been observed for some time. Mm-hmm. But the first official sighting will probably be the observatory in the, I believe it's the northwest corner of Australia at Learmouth. It is the Wormwood Observatory. And really? This observatory is tasked primarily with near-Earth objects, NEOs. Mm-hmm. So this is the kind of thing that they're going to be looking for. Wormwood is the name of the observatory, and with astronomy, you tend to name your discoveries after whoever discovered it, or the observatory. Mm-hmm. So in this case, it could just simply be called Wormwood, whatever. So that I believe will be the official name of the object once it's sighted. Okay,
we have this question for you: how close will Planet X come to Earth?
Planet X, probably what we're seeing in all of the ancient historical records is that it comes somewhere between Mars and Jupiter. Is its point of perihelion, where it comes closest to the sun. And so there are those that think, oh my gosh, it's anytime you hear somebody that says Nibiru is going to hit the Earth or it's on a crash course to the Earth, that's disinformation. That's someone pumping you full of steam. This thing is going to pass through, but also it's going to be a very massive object, and how it interacts with our planet and interacts with the sun really goes back to the three principal laws of prime real estate, which are location, location, location.
Right.
And so it's really going to depend on where we are at in relationship to this object. And this has been the driving in the historical accounts. We publish an ancient historical text called the Colburn Bible that was it's like the Holy Bible. It is written in two parts. The first part was written by the Egyptians about the same time as the Old Testament. The second part were written by the Celts about the same time as the New Testament, and actually contained very detailed biographical sketches of Jesus that the biographer met him. So this, right. Folks that are saying, well, Jesus never existed, there's no historical proof. Well, in the Colburn Bible, there's a tremendous amount of corroboration for the existence of Jesus, because the author, whoever's wrote those particular sketches, obviously had to have walked with him and met with many of the family. The part of it that really, by the way, that got me to believing that was the way he described Mary. He said she was rather quiet, sat at the back, and she appreciated the fact that Jesus had an important job to do, but as a